welcome to Rough Cut Film Review. There are two films out at the moment that I invariably will not like, despite giving them a fair go. The first one is The In-Betweeners 2. I walked out of the first one literally not caring what might happen next to the characters despite enjoying the series. The other is The Expendables 3, which is the one I've seen first. So, hello everyone, this is a review of The Expendables 3. I saw the original Expendables when Rough Cut Film Review was merely a wink in a milkman's eye, so obviously that didn't get reviewed. If you search it out on YouTube or wherever, or Dailymotion or wherever you watch it illegally, there is a Rough Cut Film Review of The Expendables 2, and if you can go and watch that now to put this in some context and then come back and watch Expendables 3, you know it makes sense. Now, growing up in the 80s and 90s, I loved the action films of the time, from Conan to Predator to Universal Soldier to Death Wish to Cobra to Rambo. All these things I really enjoyed growing up. Over the years, actually, I have kept thinking, oh, if only action films were like that, you know, back in my day, muscly men were musclier and, you know, everything was just a lot better and brighter. Take something like the Bourne films, you know, why are they so smart and interesting and clever? Why don't they just go and oil themselves up and wrestle some semi-naked guys in a bathhouse a la Red Heat, or turn into a snake like Conan, you know, the bad guy turns into a, you know, all these things. Why are things these days so sensible and well made? Well, lamentably, those days are over for a very good reason. Having watched the insufferable Expendables films, and I've watched all three, thank you very much, I'm really glad that action hero cinema is long since dead, and people like Christopher Nolan and Joss Whedon are making action films that are interesting and clever and have moved with the times, instead of these people who are literally idiots who keep banging the same tired drum, convinced that what they're doing is, and what they're saying is in some way profound. It's not. It's really not. Sly Stallone here thinks he's some sort of warrior poet. He's not. He is literally an idiot. And he seems to have at some stage suffered the kind of brain injuries that a real boxer would suffer, because, you know, he just strikes me as a very odd individual who doesn't have a brain in his head. So this is the third one, and they've got even more action stars to shoehorn in. So adding to the already huge roster of muscle men, we add such luminaries here as Kelsey Grammer and Harrison Ford. But then the muscle action stars, we have Mel Gibson, Antonio Banderas and Wesley Snipes, fresh from his tax problems, as well as a team of youngsters who I don't recognise. But if I seem to remember, they tried in the Expendables 2 to introduce some youngsters, and that didn't work very well. But anyway, they're trying it again. Wesley Snipes arrives at the beginning, and we're pretty much told he's always been there. Oh, this guy, you remember him from that mission we did ages ago. He's one of the Expendables. But Antonio Banderas is a tough sell for American audiences, I gather, because he's not American, and therefore they have to give his character a zany, crazy twist, and he's incredibly irritating. So that's got to be his niche to fit in, you know, because he's foreign. He can't be trusted unless he's sort of, you know, unless no one really respects him very much. So, you know, they've given a really fine actor such a stupid role, and, you know, he does his best with it, but frankly, it is what it is. Kelsey Grammer is a very interesting actor, and they've given an incredibly uninteresting character to play. He's just some bloke, you know, he could be anyone really. It's such a bland role. Plot wise, and there aren't spoilers here because it's in the trailer, but dun 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 dun, Mel Gibson, whose character has an incredibly stupid name, is alive. He was a goodie apparently, but now he's very much a baddie, and he's an arms dealer because, of course, you know, if you're coming up with a nondescript international baddie, arms dealer is just the laziest, and also, you know, access to lots of guns, fine. Sly Stallone and his eponymous Expendables are tasked with tracking him down and bringing him back alive, you know, for The Hague. He's in Umagunistan or somewhere that they've made up, you know, this completely improbable name, Umagumistan or something, you know, these like Kazakhstan, but preposterous. Now, the problem I have with these films, well, one of the problems, other than I think that they are literally idiots. But the big problem I have is the fact that the protagonists actively enjoy killing people. They love it. They really love it. So early doors, we have them mowing down an endless procession of nameless brown people, but we're assured by the tone that it's all in good fun. These guys, they don't have wives. These people that are being murdered, they don't have wives, they don't have children. We just sort of, they're a resource to be expended by the Expendables. That's basically it. They're a resource to be used up like fuel in a big jetpack rocket car. They're just kill those guys. It's all part of the fun. Then after quite a while, and this is a spoiler, so be careful, but someone we're supposed to care about gets shot. We've seen dozens of people shot and killed already, but this one guy gets shot. He doesn't get killed, but shot. And the tone suddenly shifts really dramatically that, we're horrified, we're distraught that this guy's been shot. Unbelievable. Anyway, at this point, Sly Stallone's character, who is, Sly Stallone in Sly Stallone's mind, which doesn't work properly, as I've said. Now, we're assured he's got a death wish. That's sort of the point of it, that, he'll do anything because, he doesn't care whether he lives or dies, is this kind of level. But then, suddenly, one of the Expendables, now they're called the Expendables, this idea that they're there to be used, they're there to, because the other guys won't do it. But suddenly it takes a complete about turn and they start worrying about their own mortality. And suddenly Sly Stallone is, I didn't realise you Expendables, gunning down hundreds of other people. Didn't realise you might get hurt or killed. Good Lord, I'm not ready to sacrifice anybody. Blimey, I've completely missed the point. So these suicide missions, they end up going endlessly on. Maybe that's not good. Maybe they're a bit dangerous. So I don't understand what's happening there with the characters, but the plot then goes down that road, which is frankly tiresome. So Sly Stallone is trying to cultivate the idea that there has this moral weight on his shoulders, this burden of losing his team, and in the same vein as the repellent Fast and Furious movies, they cultivate this idea of that they're somehow a family. It's the same idea, basically. But at the same time, they're smiling, they're laughing, they're quibbing psychopaths who love killing other people. But at the same time, we're supposed to feel sorry for them for some reason, not the people that they murder on a daily basis. Beyond that, most of the script is innuendo, where so we've got Sly Stallone's dull and misplaced moralising, and then the other half is, the muscle men making definitely not gay comments to each other about each other's penises or their guns or their sexual performance or all of that stuff. And there was someone in the cinema, actually. I mean, it was quite a quiet screening room, but there was someone who would and I was thinking, yes. Every time it happened, he was laughing, this ridiculous laugh, and every time it happened, I was thinking, laugh, you sheep, laugh, damn you. I know I'm out of step with the rest of the world, but damn it, this is rubbish. As I think I said in my review of Expendables 2, having this many stars in a film, these many action stars that are used to being the centre point of a film, so someone like Dolph Lundgren or Sly Stallone or Arnie, they are used to being the tentpole of their franchises or their films. They are the action star, and if you put too many of those in there, you basically have to be as clever and inventive as Joss Whedon was with Avengers Assemble to make it work. Otherwise it just becomes a complete cluster. I'm sure there's a swear word there, but I don't swear on the programme, or I try not to. So, it just becomes a complete mess of these muscle men murdering people and then, quibbing, and then the next guy's got to murder a couple more people and then quibbing, and the whole thing just loses all sense of stylistic control. It's just a runaway freight train that gets very boring very quickly. It's that whole idea that, more isn't necessarily more. The best thing in this film, despite being such an objectionable Burke in real life, is Mel Gibson. He's the baddie, so he gets more screen time alone because he doesn't have to share it with his muscle-bound, repressed homosexual chums. So, he gets to be a bit more of a psychopathic lunatic on purpose. And you get a real sense that he genuinely is a Hollywood leading man, because he has that sort of star quality that Stallone or Lundgren definitely don't have, with all their quibbing stupidity and their muscles. They just don't have that easy, interesting, just the camera loves Mel Gibson, even though he's old and, and clearly something of a racist, but still the camera loves him, and that's definitely the best thing in the film. The final line of the film, so spoiler alert here, please do turn off it as appropriate, but Sly Stallone and his team have been looking for Mel Gibson, and the final line really sums up the stupidity of the script and just the general stupidity of the people there. So he's holding a gun to Mel Gibson, and Mel Gibson says, what about The Hague? Because he spent the whole film saying, the Americans have said to him, you've got to bring Mel Gibson's character back alive, we've got to try him at The Hague. So Mel Gibson says, what about The Hague? You can't shoot me, kind of thing. And Sly Stallone says, I am The Hague, and then shoots him. It doesn't make any sense. I am The Hague. What the hell is that supposed to mean? And that's the final line. That's